Kick the buckles off your brand new shoes. They laughed about my temper back then. I thought it was the blues. I call it the blues. Screaming and the walls start moving. The wardrobe would attack. And the smell of someone I knew well. I would watch the ceiling crack. I would watch the ceiling crack. That's a song that I wrote called Mary Mary. And it was my first remembrance of meeting the person who abused me sexually first. I lay down in the street when I saw him. My mother brought me uptown to Logue's shoe shop in Galway to buy a pair of shoes. And I lay down in the dirt and I screamed, and he sang that song to me, Mary Mary, quite contrary. And fast forward a few years, a good few years, I was knocked down by a car in Knocknacarra, and I was 6 months pregnant, and I spent the next 12 weeks laying on a hospital bed in the regional, in the long ward, where people came and went and died in the bed beside me. But there was no room for me in the maternity because I wasn't full term. So I was laying flat there for the 12 weeks. The nurses used to spoon feed me, and I was a vegetarian, so the food options were very limited. So my mother used to bring down a flask of mashed potatoes with butter and scallions every evening. So I suppose I talked or communed with the baby that was growing inside me, and I didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl. I didn't know if she was okay or he was okay. There were no scans. And she was born 3 months later. Her name is Aoife. And about when she was 10 months of age, my mother was making a wedding cake or Christmas cakes or something. And Aoife got up off the floor and walked over to this wedding cake. And she made a grab for it. Anyways, she fell down. She didn't fall on the cake. And I was in Galway on a visit, so I went in to see my granny who lived next door, and the man who had abused me was in the kitchen, and I hadn't seen him for, I don't know, 15 years. And her two little legs grabbed hold of my hip so tightly, and she screamed and screamed and screamed, and we left. And I knew then something Pat talks about, empathy. I knew, I'm not sure if that was, she knew what it was. And that was the first kind of demonstration, or not demonstration, first time I've ever felt that close connection, that people actually know what you're feeling. So when I walk into a room, sometimes you kind of say, read the room, you know, it's true. We talk an awful lot about abuse. We talk a lot about alcoholism and addiction. And sometimes we have to understand that we don't become alcoholic or drug addicted because it's great fun. We come from a place of real hurt and shame. And I kind of continued on a road that was, I was very exploring a lot of stuff. When I was 15 and 16, I got in trouble a lot. I didn't know at the time why I was always getting in trouble. I think we kind of know now why teens do that. I ran away regularly. I ran away to see Rory Gallagher in the Hangar Ballroom. And I ran away to see, what's his name? Donovan, playing in the Aran Islands. Music, for me, transported me away from all the pain that was in my life. And when I found a record in the jukebox in Salt Hill called I'd Rather Go Blind by a band called Chicken Shack, I knew then that this music did that. Music can connect with you at a very visceral, emotional, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, level. So I continued to get into trouble for doing that, but I always continued getting into trouble because at least I got to see Donovan and Rory Gallagher and Christy Moore and everybody else, you know. And but I heard Van Morrison when I was 16, and he was singing a song called "Listen to the Lion." And that night, I hurt myself really bad, deliberately. I remember my father carrying me to the car in a blanket into the blue cadet, Opel Cadet, and up to the hospital. And the nurse was busy stitching my wrists up, and she said, "You know, this is a mortal sin, and the next time you do that, we'll call the guards and you'll go to prison." So from there, I was taken by ambulance to Ballinasloe Lunatic Asylum, which they used to call it in those days. And now that the motorway has bypassed Ballinasloe, I don't ever have to go there again. But I used to freak out every time I drove through Ballinasloe. And the sat-nav bitch took me into Ballinasloe yesterday. What the fuck? What was going on? Google took me. The god of Google took me into Ballinasloe yesterday, and I saw the building. And of course, it brings back all the memories of the time that I spent there when I was 16. I don't know if things have changed a lot for kids in distress. It doesn't seem so. It seems like the stuff that went on then is still going on, and the online stuff, and the bullying, and the abuse, and the pressure. An 11-year-old girl from nearby where we live jumped off the motorway over thingy, whatever you call it, onto the road a couple of years ago because she was being bullied at school and she didn't tell anyone. And she didn't die, but she's never going to be okay, you know. I'm going to sing a song about my time in Ballinasloe. Okay, my father used to say to me every time I'd get in trouble, and even when I came out of Ballinasloe, he said, "Mary, when are you going to stop acting the maggot?" So this is a song. Here we go. This is not a song, this is not a song, just the reminiscent ramblings of a soul who's right for wrong, a tortured vigilante who will never lose the view, a starry-eyed young woman singing songs of what she knew, from hopscotch to tonsil hockey, skipping rope to skipping school, playing marbles, losing marbles, breaking all the rules, then opening up a door and opening up a mind. I caught a glimpse of heaven and it didn't leave me blind. I did not lose my mind. For a moment here, a moment there, I thought my troubles were over. I didn't have a care. My days were filled with wine and roses, but I hadn't seen this, and I hadn't felt that. I hadn't laughed till I cried tears, just acting the maggot. I haven't done that for donkey's years. This is not a song, this is not a song, a cacophony of cannon that I knew all along, a hazy recollection of a long gone long ago, when a thirst for misadventure landed me in Ballinasloe. Methinks at last near to share eye-opening facts, but the doctor took one look at me, and he told my mother I was cracked, and he sharpened all his pencils. He laid out a Rorschach test. He said, never mind, this is for the best. This is for the best. For a moment here, a moment there, I thought my troubles were over. I didn't have a care. My days were filled with wine and roses, but I hadn't seen this, and I hadn't felt that. I hadn't laughed till I cried tears, just acting the maggot. I haven't done that for donkey's years. Thank you. Thanks very much. This is Ulton Conlon on the guitar over here, and Micheál O'Connor on the guitar over here. Woo. So all week, or longer than a week, I've been writing down notes on a piece of paper similar to these pieces of paper, and they were all kept together. And I went for a walk on the prom this morning, and I came back and the piece of paper was gone. And it was really strange because it was like stuck in there, you know, and I kept writing words, and I was like, oh, remember to say Pat Dolan and stuff like that, and empathy, and you know, mention the book Ainfa and all of that. There you go, Pat. So I remembered that without my notes. So the notes are gone, so I have nothing to say to you really. Except that, yeah, you know, I'm 68 now, and people I went to school with when I wrote a book called Bloody Mary, and people I went to school with wrote to me and told me that similar stuff had happened to them when they were kids. I went to school every single day with one particular girl, and we kind of ended up at the same old drinking thing, you know, drugs, and she had been horrifically abused by a priest. It did come to court and all of that, but when it was time to sentence him, he had Alzheimer's, so she felt kind of cheated out of that. Anyway, it seems to just go on and on and on and on and on, and I know people are doing stuff. I don't know what people can do. I know that you're all here to talk about that, how to keep children safe. But I know that the waiting lists to get children to see therapists is horrific, horrifically long. And I read a report last night or on the night before that said unless a child had self-harmed in some way or attempted suicide, that CAMS couldn't see them. They had to be that bad. Anyway, my own journey, I'll talk about that for a second before I let you all go home for your week. After your weekend, took me down the road of. I ended up drinking like 3 liters of vodka a day, at the height of my drinking career, and ended up on a life support machine in Dublin, in hospital in the Mater. And when I was coming to on about the 17th of March, it's 31 years ago, I wanted desperately to go out for a drink because it was St. Patrick's weekend. So I had promised myself when I had children, I have 5 of them now, they're all extremely well, believe it or not, well adjusted, and I've got 6 grandchildren in whom I am very well pleased, and we seem to get on very well. But I had promised that my children would never, ever, ever suffer the way that I had suffered, any physical or sexual abuse, and I would keep them safe forever and ever and ever. But I had damaged them I had just like fucking abandoned them emotionally. I was 20 when I had my first daughter, and I was not available for them. And when I started to become well known in the entertainment industry, and my drinking and my drug taking got worse, yeah, I abandoned them. Not from the house or something, but I wasn't able to. That's how the abuse, I call it abuse. That's how I abused them. The first 3 were born in to addiction, and the second 2 were born when I was a fair bit sober. So I wrote this song on my last album, which is called Life Stories, and it's called Safe and Sound. I've never really actually been able to get to the end of this without cracking up, so I hope we'll get there today. It was never ever meant to be, playing with the children's not for free. Leaves a daughter bruised and so alone, couldn't keep them safe and sound and homeward bound. Out of jail when I was 17, couldn't keep it in the family, beaten just for being a little bold. How could I know safe and sound and homeward bound? Oh God, for heaven's sake, that was some price I paid. I couldn't care for you like you cared for me. I just had to let you go. You couldn't keep me safe and sound and homeward bound. It was always going to end that way, chasing dragons all for pity's sake. Drown my demons in a hell of drink. Catch me when I hit the ground on my way down. How to play at happy families, how to love when I could not love me. I promised I would never let you down. I couldn't keep you safe and sound and homeward bound. What can I say, my loves? I tried and failed, my loves. I'll try and care for you like you cared for me. No, I will never let you go. I'll keep us all together, safe and sound. So slumber easy, little ones. Not for you a life of keeping mum. Know this love wherever you may roam. Always know you're safe and sound at home. Always know you're safe and sound and homeward bound. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, Pat, get your medal, miraculous medal. I'm going to finish up on a song, and it's a really nice one. It's not, yeah, well, it's a good song. I've learned it recently, so I have the I knew the words of that. I just had them there. So, are you all right? Yeah, yeah. I know you probably had a lot of this stuff all weekend. You've had a lot of this stuff all weekend, talking and listening to stuff like this. So this is a little song that Lucinda Williams wrote, and it's about checking in with people, asking them if they're all right. So, you all right? You all right? I'll do a little joke about going around to the microphone. Are you all right? But I won't do that. Okay. So I have a gig tonight in Guidor in Donegal, and Jesus. Somebody here from Guidor? Are you all running home for the gig? See you. Hope you all have a nice rest of the weekend, and thanks for inviting me, Gillian and Pat and everyone, and thank you. Okay. Are you all right? All of a sudden you went away. Are you all right? I hope you come back around someday. Are you all right? I hadn't seen you in a real long time. Are you all right? Could you give me some kind of sign? Are you all right? I looked around me and you were gone. Are you all right? I wanna know if there's something wrong. Are you all right? 'Cause it seemed like you disappeared. Are you all right? I've been feeling a little scared. Are you all right? Are you sleeping through the night? Do you have someone to hold you tight? Do you have someone to hang out with? Do you have someone to hug and kiss you? Hug and kiss you, hug and kiss you. Are you all right? Just tell me that you're okay. Are you all right? 'Cause you took off without a word. Are you all right? You flew away like a little bird. Are you all right? Is there anything I can do? Are you all right? I really need to hear from you. Are you all right? Is there something bothering you? Are you all right? Won't you give me a little clue? Are you all right? Are sleeping through the night? Do you have someone to hold you tight? Do you have someone to hang out with? Do you have someone to hug and kiss you? Hug and kiss you, hug and kiss you. Are you alright? Are you alright? Are you alright? Are you alright? Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a small question, but it's one worth asking. Maybe not so many times in a row, but you know what I mean.